We're going to jump right into it, but before we do, this one took 5mm more of effort than the last few videos. I'm using a more professional software, which I used in like the first 2 videos I have on this channel. I'm so buried with work, I'm like behind on like all my YouTube channels, content creation stuff. So I was kind of just like cutting corners, rushing through stuff, but I'm so behind at this point, like I don't even care anymore. So I want to do this the way I want to do it. So we're gonna get right into it. But before we get started, I want to make a quick announcement. This video was sponsored by your left baby toe, and we're gonna get right into it. But before we do, I'm just kidding. I'm just making fun of how us YouTubers love to say jumping right into it, but we don't jump into it until like the 3-minute mark. But seriously, jumping right into it. Yellow circle. This is Jowon Briggs. It's the second quarter, 2 minutes 55 seconds left. 1st and 10. Motion. The red lines indicate a zone step to our right. You see Jowon reading it, mirroring the step. Engages with this guy. He is able to engage with his guy before his guy is able to engage with him. So far, if you're on the line, you got to play the run. You might notice Quinnedn Williams on the same page. 44 and 26. They have an assignment that dictates that they do not sell out for this wide zone. Great discipline because it ends up being a play action. Now, Jowon is kind of in the trenches. He's in the thick of things, so he's still playing the run. And as of right now, he's thinking his guy is trying to seal off this edge, and he wants to work towards that edge to try to not get sealed off on that edge. Here's the moment where Jowon realizes it's play action. Harrison Phillips will realize it too in just a second. I made a quick note here. You're going to see Jowon and Harrison Phillips try to rally to the quarterback to put pressure on him, but you do not necessarily see 9 and 56 do the same. That's because the halfback is still a threat, and you have to respect that. And if they abandon that responsibility to also rally to the QB, then the next time they call this, they might just call a screen version of this, where they're going to bet on everybody over pursuing to the QB, throw the screen with an army of blockers in front of them. So everyone has to stay accountable to their assignments. So 956 has to respect the running back, even though they know he doesn't have the ball, to stay honest, so to speak. At this point, D lineman trying to get to the QB. Jowon's able to get the tackle. All right, next play, still second quarter. This one was earlier in the second quarter. It's 3rd and 7. Jowon Briggs is in the circle. Fires off the ball. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, fellow trenchman, but this pass pro looks like mano-a-mano all across the board, doesn't it? So Jowon engages. Does a good old-fashioned bull rush. Love his hands. He gets his hands inside and extension. If you're in a O-line, D-line battle, you both are trying to fight for preferable hand placement. And not only does Jowon get his hands inside, he gets that extension, which means he's able to control him and manipulate him, even though the O-lineman looks like he has good pad level, looks to have decent leverage. But if you look at the hands, you'll actually notice the O-line is not in control, and see what happens. Rips him. Rip, swim over the top, gets his sack. Atta baby. Look at O-line, he's having a fucking anime moment. He's thinking about everything that it could have been and should have been, but it ended up not happening. Next play, 3rd quarter, 9 minutes and 29 seconds left, 2nd and 3. And they're obviously in a goal line situation. Motion. Some kind of audible. Are you not entertained? I don't know what that means. I'm just guessing. Okay, so you're going to see the D lineman pinch towards the middle, while the D ends kind of have a contained assignment. This is just what it looks like to me. Because as the O-line takes their first step, 72 flinched. Not like flinch, but he made his first like movement. Jowon's not necessarily reading it. He's making his first step inside, even though the O-lineman's going outside, which tells me that this was schemed up to be like a pinch. You know, this was a Lamar Jackson fumble, but he recovered, gave the handoff. So right as you receive the handoff, if you're the running back, you would see a clear, easy touchdown on this cutback, if not for the fact that Jowon has the leverage on his blocker to that side and has eyes on you. So he obviously has to stay left, be patient, wait for a hold to form. And he just want to throw in this Michael Clemens move, indicated by the dotted lines. Yellow line is him, red line is 72. Clemens is able to kung fu the block off of him like this, and then get that tackle. So good play all around. Even though Michael Clemens got the tackle, I wanted to show this because if whoever was in Jowon's position, which in this case was obviously him, did not play this in this way with leverage to the cutback, this would have been an easy touchdown. He would have just put his head down and leaned forward into it. But because the cutback wasn't there, he had to stick to plan A, which multiple people took away, not just Clemens. Clemens made the tackle, but 51 refused to be moved. And number 4's block here. I do not know why he gave up on the block so fast, because the play isn't over yet. But it wouldn't have mattered because everyone in the mix made the play already. But in an alternate universe where Michael Clemens couldn't get off his block, if number 4 was able to stay blocking his DB, this could have still been a touchdown. And that's why it's so important for receivers to be willing to block. All right, third quarter, about 10 minutes and 56 seconds left, 2nd and 7. Jowon Briggs is in the circle. You see the right guard pull left, double team left tackle, left guard to the D tackle. And Jowon is in an engagement, diagnosing what's happening in the backfield. Both him and 64 are fighting for preferable hand placement. Jowon's clearly the one in control because he's able to shed his guy, swim over top. Now, Jowon wasn't in the play. He didn't get a stat for this, but this is to show how he's able to do his job. Strong platform, good hands, good engagement, and shed his blocker. Now, just as a disclaimer, these are kind of like highlights. A couple of these plays are like normal good plays where he didn't do anything amazing. He just did his job. He had 49 snaps in the game, I believe, which is, a big majority of the game. And not every play was like this. Sometimes he got moved off the ball. Sometimes he wasn't able to shed his block. But compared to my video last week on Mazi Smith, no offense to him, you see Jowon Briggs' potential. He can do this. And it's something that is replicatable. This is something that he could do more and more of. Jowon can get to a place where him being able to beat his guy like this becomes an expectation, for the most part an expectation. Whereas for me with Mazi Smith, it's not really at expectation level. It's more of at like a hope level where you hope he can consistently do something like this, which is why I think they evaluated Mazi Smith. And then once they saw what they saw, they put Mazi, somewhere else on the depth chart. Even with that being said, Mazi Smith is not somebody that I'd be ashamed to have on a depth chart either. All right, here's third quarter, 13 minutes and 51 seconds left. It is 2nd and 6. So over here in the A gap. So I wanted to show this play. I put it in text. So this is a case where Jowon did not get off his block necessarily. But if you look at where the play started, where was the block engaged? Where's the line of scrimmage? Bada bing. He's able to not let his guy push him. Matter of fact, he pushes his blocker back about a yard. And he was able to sort of walk his blocker closer to where the run lane is. In addition, the rest of the defense does their assignment. They fit it perfectly. Running back has nowhere to go. He just has to put his nose in there. Now, the way we play the run, I'm really proud of it, but I'm also really in a mode of respect for all the running backs, especially King Henry, because 90% of the time, no matter where we made contact with him, he was still able to lean forward and get another like couple yards. And that's what you could expect from King Henry. But even with that being said, we played so tight. We played the run so well. We dared Lamar to throw. And I just saw a lot of bright spots in our future in terms of our defense from this game, even with Lamar not being at 100%. This is earlier in the third quarter. It's 1st and 10. So you kind of got to be ready for anything. You would kind of be thinking run just off of 80's stance. If their receivers are mostly inside foot up, and then I don't know whether they're outside foot up, which gives them better leverage to throw a run block, crack block, whatever, kind of a dead giveaway. But if you sell out for that, they can always play with your head and give you a look, but do something else. So you still got to be honest to some extent. Motion. So Jowon is taking on a double team. 72 is looking up to the next level. 79 is trying to get his head across to seal the inside edge. This is great because you look at all our linebackers. They're fitting a gap. You don't see two people in one gap, leaving one wide open. You see everybody fitting properly. And then kind of squeezing the run play. Now at this moment, you'll see that the O-line has his head on the inside edge and Jowon's head is on the outside edge. That's good effort, good leverage by the O-lineman. Henry makes his choice. He's going to the right slightly. And then Jowon is able to somehow magician his way around the O-line's good leverage and then rally to the play. So I personally don't know how he did it. He took on a double team, yes. He didn't get pushed off too much. He did get pushed a little, normal shit. But the fact that his O-lineman had the leverage on him, maybe it was overzealous leverage, because, when I was playing, like, this is pretty good leverage, but maybe nowadays you don't want your helmet on their shoulder pad. Maybe you want it, like, closer to their center line, like, right on the inside of their nipple or something like that. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. But regardless, he was able to get in on the play, and I just thought that was a good look. Kind of a simple thing. Like, you just see a bunch of us rally to the ball here, but you see it done with discipline, assignment, integrity, and people making plays, getting off blocks. Like, you see everybody's on their assignment. You look at this guy right here, 77. He has his helmet on the inside edge too. Like, this is what they're trying to do to you. And Jowon was able to get across the leverage and get involved in the play. You just love to see something like that. It's simple things, like it's something you wouldn't notice. Even if you're a film junkie, you're not going to notice that in the moment watching a game necessarily, unless you watch the game with a goddamn magnifying glass. But that little detail, let's say you're a D-line coach, if you saw that little detail, that'd make you happy. You can also shout out to Fele, who took on a double team as well and beat his blocker, get in the running back's way. Just a lot of things went right here. Last play I want to look at, fourth quarter, about 5 minutes left, 2nd and 17. Ball snap, you see a double team on Harrison Phillips. Now, from Jowon's perspective, you don't have a third-person view. You can only see things out of his helmet. And he says the guy right in front of him take a zone step, and you see the guard getting ready to help out blocking you. Before he moves up to the next level, you see 77 got eyes on the second level. So you see him, yep, I wrote it. I forgot I wrote it. Working against a double team. Trying to engage. Now at this point, Derrick Henry, he's looking at this lane. He sees purple jerseys and he sees a potential on this side. But right in that moment, 56, Quinnedn Williams, is able to beat his block, kind of sneak in and take away this lane, which means Derrick Henry has no choice but to bounce it. Granted, the guy who was blocking 56 tries to recover and just push him upfield. Doesn't matter. It's safer for Derrick Henry to bounce. But you'll notice that Jermaine Johnson, when he was engaged with his blocker, he's karate fighting his blocker. And he's able to get off his guy. Jermaine is too good to be engaged in a block for you to just bounce on him. I mean, you do it sometimes, but Jermaine is pretty damn good. He's not just going to give that up easy. But Derrick Henry, so good. He cuts it back again. But by this point, Jowon has been following the play. He beat his guy. Let's look at just Jowon here. Fighting this guy, and he had shed him earlier on. He shed him here. And so he's hustling without over pursuing. 56, number 9, whole bunch of Jets jerseys are able to rally to him. Boom. Damn. It looks like Derrick Henry saying, fuck it, and just try to give 91 as big of a pop as he could. Boom. But the important thing is that we made the play. This was a physical game. It looked like the Jets defense was trying to show we are not afraid of your physicality. You should be afraid of our physicality. But it looked like the Ravens defense was saying the same thing. I know you're trying to be a physical team, Jets, but we ain't afraid of that. And we were just teeing off on each other and who was going to break first. On the physicality front, neither team necessarily completely broke. Obviously, the Ravens pulled away and they won the game fair and square, so congrats to them. I saw a lot of film breaking down the receivers that we got, Mechie and Mitchell. And I wanted to do that too, but I didn't see too much on Jowon yet. This is where I want to put my antennas at and just see how he did. And for the most part, he hung in there. There was a couple reps he lost, but he won more reps than he lost. And if you're looking for a D tackle to start for you, I feel like he is something I'd be very comfortable as a starting D tackle for us. And matter of fact, let me look up how old he is. Oh, yo, he early. It says he's 24 as of right now. So he got a long way to go. Yo, if you got a 24-year-old who is showing you this on tape, yes, I understand no one is going to be Quinnedn Williams. Like when it comes to D tackles, you got like less than a handful up here. Other than that, everybody is down here in this body mass. But it looked like Jowon Briggs could be at the top level of the body mass. You could definitely sleep at night comfortably knowing that. Not to mention, I watched all the Jowon Briggs reps and I saw a lot of Harrison Phillips in there. I feel like for us, the big scary man for us on the inside is Harrison Phillips. Like he is a freakazoid. I am so happy he's on the team. I hope he stays healthy. I hope he's able to stay with us for a year, 2, 3, who knows? Maybe he can even retire a Jet. I like his presence on the field a lot. And another thing I noticed, which I forgot to mention, looking at this play, for example, so you see Harrison in the 3-point stance with his offhand on the hip. See Jowon Briggs 99% of the time in a 4-point stance. So here's another angle, is another example. 4-point stance, 3-point stance with the offhand on the hip. And now here you see Tufele on the right. Please ignore the yellow circle. You see Tufele on the right, 3-point stance, but his offhand is at his chest. Now, if I'm correct, if you 3-point stance and your offhand is back to the hip, basically you got it cocked back, ready to make contact. That's more prevalent in the old school, and the hand forward is more prevalent in the new school, where they think like that millisecond you shave off of being able to make hand contact is worth having your hand in the front. And I have no idea. Like, this is just me speculating. I see, as far as the interior, all the different stances involved. So it just makes me wonder, does the D-line coach, because D-line coaches at high school and college, they will tell you to do it their way for the most part. Like, this is how we do our stances. It just makes me wonder, does our D-line coach, like, you already coached to do it a certain way, so I'm just going to let you do it your way, as long as you do the important shit that I'm asking. Like, you do the main part, which is your assignment. You take over this gap, you engage the way I want you to engage. Other than that, use whatever the fuck stance you want to use. So it was just a thought. There's no moral of the story there. It's just something that was going on in my head that I wanted to share, in case somebody else really likes looking at that shit and was wondering the same thing. Now, DNs are kind of a different story. The standards that are set for their stances is kind of a slightly different circumstance, I guess. But yeah, that's about it. See ya.